Welcome to a Planet Possible audio special. I'm Niki Roach, and on Planet Possible we're always interested to find out what's coming next in terms of brand new tech and innovative approaches to help make progress on climate, nature and water. And in this episode we're going to talk satellites, robots, drones and AI, and all because Ofwat, the economic regulator for water here in England and Wales, has awarded more than £42 million to innovations looking to solve major challenges across the water sector. We're grateful to our sponsors, BMA, Mackley and MWH Treatment, for helping us bring this audio special to you. So as the winners are announced, I'm joined by Jeannette Henderson, co-lead of the innovation team at Ofwat, and we'll hear about some of the winners of the latest award. We'll discuss where there's an opportunity for water regulation to also be innovative, and we'll talk about what we can expect next from the fund. So welcome to Planet Possible, Jeanette. It's great to have you with us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Total pleasure. So Ofwat Innovation Fund entries have been on Planet Possible previously, and as recently as April this year we talked about rainwater harvesting and the Enabling Water Smart Communities project, but we've never talked about the fund, where the money comes from, how it all works. So give us a quick overview to start with of the fund.
The Ofwat Innovation Fund is a key pillar in Ofwat's mission to drive innovation across the water sector, to help make sure that the sector is ready for the challenges of the future and we get better results and better outcomes for customers and the environment. Ofwat is investing £600 million over 10 years from 2020 to 2030. We have just awarded the last of the funds for the last 5-year period, which ran from 2020 to 2025.
How much does it cost customers? Because obviously when we say Ofwat awards, it's customer money, isn't it, that Ofwat are awarding. So what's the impact on our bills as water customers in England and Wales?
The Innovation Fund for the last 5-year period cost customers approximately £1.50 a year across the 5-year period. But that is funding transformational innovation, where water companies work with a wide range of partners, innovators, environmental NGOs such as Rivers Trust and universities, to really develop new ideas so we can do things differently in the future and help transform the water sector.
So let's talk about the winners of the latest round of funding. You're awarding £42.7 million to 16 projects. And I mentioned at the top drones and satellites and robots and AI and all sorts of exciting things. So tell me about some of the projects that are receiving funding in this latest round, Jeanette.
Some of the ones that piqued my interest were, there's a project being run by Northumbrian Water with Skyport Drone Services and Newcastle University and others, and it's called Smart Skies and Healthy Waters, and they're aiming to speed up and increase the amount of monitoring of coastal bathing waters by using a drone and a lab in a box system. So there'll be a drone that flies along with a lab built into it that can go and take water samples. So instead of doing one or two of a person wading into the sea and taking one or two samples at a time, the drone will be able to take hundreds of them. So it will really speed up delivery and therefore safeguard our customers and help improve the environment. Really help water companies to understand what's going into the water and do something about it.
Give me another one. What else have we got coming out in this latest round?
There's another spacey type one. This is using satellite and drone remote sensing combined with artificial intelligence to monitor water quality, to try and forecast harmful algal blooms in water bodies. These can lead to poor water quality, degraded habitats. It's a real problem for water companies and for customers. And this project is called PEDAL, and it's being run by South West Water in collaboration with NASA, Bioscape, the University of Exeter, the University of Cardiff and others. And they're hoping that if they can predict the algal blooms using this space and satellite technology, they'll be able to take preventative action faster, which will minimise any impact on the environment and on customers.
I love that you said NASA so casually in there, and that NASA are doing stuff in the UK water sector. That's awesome. I mean, that's brilliant. We've just recorded an episode all about the challenges of water use for AI and data centres being very water hungry because they obviously use a lot of water for cooling. So it's really interesting to think about the positive impacts of AI in the water sector, or the opportunities certainly for AI and remote sensing and all these kind of technologies to do good. Okay, so we've had two spacey ones. What else piqued your interest, Jeanette?
As someone who's tried to actually install sustainable urban drainage systems, and I'm aware of all of the challenges facing that, I'm really interested in a project called the Rainwater Management Platform. It's being led by Wessex Water with with HR Wallingford, Groundworks, Cywem, Arup, Environmental Protection Group and others, and they are going to provide a free-to-access digital platform that should hopefully transform the UK's approach to rainwater management by providing planning, design, construction, maintenance and good practice to accelerate the information about SUDs, which should help reduce costs and improve quality, and obviously that will help minimise discharges to sewers, to help prevent pollution, promote rainfall as a resource, and also to enhance climate resilience. And SUDs can be some really fantastic things in the environment with trees and plants and really great features for customers in their local environments.
It's really reassuring to hear actually that you're funding entries that are about things that are bigger than just the water sector as well. So sustainable urban drainage is something that's important for the water sector, but also for lead local flood authorities, for developers. Like SUDS is a thing that actually you've had a go at home, which is brilliant. We've got a soak away in our back garden. We can all do rainwater management at property level if we want to, but sometimes it's just knowing where to start that's the challenge. So three headline grabbing ones. There are 16 that have just been part of this £42 million funding. Where can people find out more if they want to go and hear who the winners are?
If you go to our website, the Ofwat Innovation Fund winners, just type it into any search engine, you'll find it, and there'll be loads of information there, including links back to the project's homepages. We'll upload the information from the projects as they go along, so you'll be able to track them and see what's happening.
Brilliant. We'll pop a link to that in the show notes as well. So Jeanette, we talked a little bit there about some of the stuff that you're funding, some of the innovation that you're catalysing as the economic regulator. How are you being innovative as a regulator?
That's a really good question, and it's a really important thing for us to be doing as regulators. We can't just be asking the water sector to innovate, we've got to do it as well. I have spent the last 18 months working with the other water sector regulators on a project funded by the Regulators Pioneer Fund to look at whether we could share data across water regulators to better and more effectively regulate the sector, potentially also to reduce the burden on the water companies of submitting the same data to the various regulators, which should in turn reduce costs on customers. But also we've been looking at whether we can make some of that data open to further stimulate innovation in the sector. So I think it's really important that we as regulators try to innovate as well as asking the water sector to do that.
Okay, so we've talked about the fund this round. What's next? You've talked at the start of the show around £600 million being awarded over that 10-year period from 2020 to 2030. So what's happening with the future of the fund?
We are really pleased that we're doubling the size of the fund this next 5 years. In 2023, we introduced a new competition that wasn't aimed at water companies, but was aimed at innovators directly. And they could apply to Ofwat for funding for their ideas. And they could be startups, they could be somebody that had already identified something in another sector that could be brought into the water sector. And we would fund the companies directly, provide them with mentoring and support from water companies so they could really tailor their innovations to the water companies and work further with them. So we've had those two challenges running for the last 5 years. We're going to continue them for the next 5 years, but we're also introducing 3 new funding streams. We're really trying to plug gaps that we've identified through the engagement with the sector and with innovators. So the first one's going to be something we're calling collaborative challenges. That's about identifying some really strategic priorities for the water sector. Companies and partners can come together and try and address those collaborative challenges together. They can start with an idea, they can develop it. We're also introducing a new cross-sector fund. So it could be, for instance, water and agriculture or water and energy, and really try to bring together the different sectors on a shared challenge with funding that will help solve those problems. And finally, we recognise that we could fund lots and lots of pilots, but what we really need to do is implement those projects. So we're introducing implementation fund, and that's to identify any barriers to implementation, provide some funding to support companies to actually take those great ideas forward.
So as co-lead of innovation at Ofwat, which is, there's a weight on your shoulders, what do you hope the legacy of the fund is, given that you're at the kind of halfway point now of that 10-year, £600 million cycle?
It's that we will have really driven collaboration across the sector. We're already seeing some really, really good examples of that. We've seen water companies working with other water companies. We've seen them working with lots and lots of partners. There's over 260 partners have been involved in our project so far, and 67% of our funding has gone to those partners. So we hope that going forward that will continue long after the fund has finished, that we're really changing the culture of the water sector so that people work together to solve the problems. that we're facing, especially around climate change, the environment, etc.
Jeanette, thank you so much for sharing that with us. That's all we've got time for, but it's been really great to hear about some of the projects that you're catalysing. I'm really looking forward to seeing the impact of some of these projects. I can't wait to follow some of the ones through that you've already mentioned. If you want to find out more about the 16 winners of the Water Breakthrough Challenge, I'll pop a link in the show notes. Thank you so much for joining us for this audio special. You can subscribe to Planet Possible on your usual podcast player to never miss an episode, and join our mailing list to be the first to hear about new episodes too. Our May mini pod is out next Thursday, and I'm joined by Lee Pitcher, MP for Doncaster East and the Isle of Axholme, so do join me for that too. And all that leaves me to say is a huge thank you to my superb guest, Jeanette Henderson. Thank you, Jeanette.
Thank you very much.
That's it, everyone. Stay curious, stay connected, and we'll see you next time.